Good morning. I'm Krista with Live True, and here we are again on our third Magical Monday, and we may increase the frequency of this. One of the reasons why this came to fruition is because Spirit led me to do it. And when Spirit leads me to do something, I've learned a long time ago, we better get to doing it. So that's why I am here, and that is my purpose for being here, is to help lead souls to their Spirit's calling. So I'm Krista. I am the owner of Live True, and this all started with a life coaching business about 5 years ago. And now it has transformed into more of a spiritual practice, one where I heal, I grow, I transform, and then I empower myself and others to go do whatever I just did. So I'm always learning and growing, and you'll most likely see that I won't teach on certain things, but other things I will go right into because I understand the flow of it. So here's one of those examples today. Before we get started, if you've watched any of the other videos, you've seen a little bit about, I noticed that way back about 2 years ago, I started the YouTube channel and I made a saging and cleansing original video and I kept it on there so you can see about that. But the second video in, we started doing our bubbles of protection. So I'm going to do it just once more at this time because whenever we step into this inner knowing and the spiritual's advice and calling, and when angels come around, there's a lot of energy very much alive in our spaces. And I do believe that whenever we share our messages with each other, we can provoke the positive energy or the creation of things to happen in each other's spaces. So I feel like I'm a steward of this work, and let's just protect us all to start. So I call upon our angels to wrap us in our bubble of protection, and I'm visualizing that circle around us, bringing light and love into our souls, sending light and love out to the world, and allowing negativity to bounce off our bubbles and return to the source for healing, comfort, and renewal. And so it is. And so what we did is we just protected our space, our auras, which is a sacred geometry circle of the feminine. And auras are circles, but so are halos. And it's a very sacred creation. And then also we use the triangle, which is another sacred geometry shape for creation. So when we send light and love out to the world, we're creating that vibration for us as well. We can do more on that as we go. If it doesn't resonate with you, just like anything else in this message, what you're going to do is take it where it belongs, and you're going to say, this matches me, I'll put it here, and this doesn't feel like it's good for me, or it doesn't feel like it resonates with my soul, so I'm going to take it and put it here, and it's perfect for my journey today. So just trust yourself. Okay, if you hop onto my Instagram, on the 24-hour feed, you're going to see the tablescape for this magical Monday, and you're also going to see a quick visual of the sleeping and snoring dog next to me. So if you hear like this deep breathing, it's him, and it's cool. We're all part of this, and I feel like he likes it too. So I'm going to pull down my sacred healing candle. Can't see it back there. So I'm using my healing candle. We have these in the apothecary. I don't know if we have healing, but we have good health. We just got in. I have a little bit of a spread this morning that Spirit gave to me, so I'm going to talk through it. I have my abalone shell, which is a protector, but it also holds the sacred ash that I'm going to burn here for us. And I have an array of crystals that I'm just going to let Spirit lead me to because they came to me at a time when they were supposed to. So they not only are a part of my practice. So this is Palo Santo that I'm burning, just to remind you. I always wrap my whole body in like a wreath of it, and I circle it. And this is a cleansing wood when it's burned that has a high vibration. It helps stabilize emotional imbalances, and it also heightens the vibration of your space. So you get it like on fire like you would a normal campfire, and you blow it out, and that's where the sacred smoke comes. So I just set that down in my shell, and the shell holds and saves the ashes for us, because the sacred ash is actually amazing to use too in like your corners or to spread around in your front yard just for more blessing. So I often feel like I get a little bit sore when it's time to begin talking. So we're going to start just talking through a couple of things. Okay. So we have a full moon class on Tuesday, and it's all around the rebirthing and the renewal, but more than anything, the releasing energy. There was a very significant reading that came to me this morning, and it was a complete download of nothing but creation and positivity and literally treasures of the earth coming out of this time that we're living. So if you're looking at this in the archive, we're living during the pandemic right now. So if this is something you're seeing years down the line in this channel, this is marking the time that we may never see again. And this is the time of the coronavirus. And they say it hasn't hit the apex yet. But what Spirit is talking about with hitting the apex is really just a matter of the complete soul transformation. So one of the things that we can look at this like is like the rising of the phoenix coming out of the ashes. We are going to go through the feeling of our old ways tumbling to the ground like a great wall, like we held a wall up over us. So I'm seeing like, excuse me, a great wall that surrounded us in safety, protection, and we didn't know we were using it as a facade for safety. But what's happening is it's almost like an earthquake is happening, and it's causing the wall to no longer stand around us. So the earth is shaking, and the wall is getting dislodged, and it's now crumbling. It's just crumbling. And right before this time, we saw massive fires in Australia, and just things were happening, and the earth was already experiencing the great rapture, like. But I'm not talking like the joy of like the rapture of joy. It was almost like we couldn't help but transform. And we are going to be seeing more and more of our facades just dropping. So anything that we were holding over ourselves, almost like a costume mask, when we walked places and we behaved a certain way so we could stay safe and we could be like everyone else, that mask is now coming off. I'm reminded right now to share with you, there is nobody in this world living outside of their homes right now. So we've almost created an equal partnership among humanity. Everyone has been equalized. So some of the women that I work with, sometimes we have a ton of abundant feeling women and people that feel very abundant, but they still very much care, how they're seen and the judgments that can come upon them. But when you look around, everyone is living the same life right now. No one is running away from this pandemic. No one is living above or below the fray on this. We're all living the same place, and we're directed to stay at home. We all have, if we had availability at the beginning, the Wi-Fi, so we're all here maybe. But what happens when this isn't here? Then we're all very much back to square one, right where we started in this soul level, human level, before we were taught how to behave because of each other. So now you can see that the whole earth is coming together at this equal point. So that gives us a chance to deal with some of the feelings that are coming and from all of the emotional baggage from our past, present, or what we think our futures will be. And it gives us a chance to unearth that and release that. And this full moon is very, very special for that reason, because it's coming at such a timely manner, right before the renewal day, the rebirth and the renewal and the revitalizing of the spirit, which is what a lot of us celebrate as Easter. But if you could look at it like it's a renewal, well, this is a time where we're able to be renewed. So a couple of pieces about this as we roll through this Magic Monday, and I take a sip of my coffee. You can do the same. I always picture everyone getting ready for something whenever this happens, whether you're getting ready for homeschooling, to do your own video, to write your blog, to bring your gifts to life, or to register for whatever you want to do with yourself this week. Some of the other messages that came from Spirit this morning is we're going to be not just uncovering truth through all of this, we're going to be uncovering treasure. So we're going to see basically very natural treasures of life, and some of them will be housed right in our spirit, right here. It's right behind the heart chakra. where you felt it resonating this whole time, and there was so much stuff from the programming of life happening over top of it that you never got inside to see what is the soul saying to do. That's part of Tuesday's class, but also we'll do that more through these videos. Whenever you're going past the heart chakra, you may have some healing that goes on there, because it's all of that stuff that you've held over time that you're saying, okay, now I don't want to hold you anymore. I'm going to release you into a space of healing and love, and you can return to where you came from, and you can heal with love and safety and purity. And I'm going to let my soul speak now. So that's the whole piece happening here. So with all of this, what seems like turmoil when we hear it from other people's point of views on the news and social media, if you return right back into the soul, you will hear the truth, and you'll hear it in your own way. It's just like the types of learners we have in classrooms. I know a little bit about classrooms because I work in that area. You will have a class of 25 students who all learn differently. Not everyone needs a lecture, not everyone needs visuals, not everyone needs auditory, not everyone needs kinesthetic learning. Everyone has their own way, and maybe it's a little bit of both. This is up to you how you want to handle this. One of the things that we can be reminded of, though, is as we're handling it, it may feel like we're at first navigating by the stars. And that was one of the things that came to me in a sacred journey reading I did for us. The licking of the dog happens. But when we feel like it's dark, we can always look up and see stars. And stars were an ancient method of being used as like a compass before we had compasses and directions and GPS and Google. We can actually see the rhythm of what the universe is saying by the sacred lineup of stars. Well, if you think about life, it could get dark, but there's always something to look at to help us be guided next. That is the work of our spirit guides to help us with that. And that's something that I do here at Live True, is help connect people with their spirit guides so that we can see more of that message internally. Because your spirit guides want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to me all day. They want to talk to you. So if you think about it like this, it may seem dark. It may seem like we don't know what's happening. But internally, we're being guided to notice the signs that we can keep walking ahead on that path, like almost like a lantern to your feet. Like if you think of some of the scripture that you've heard from childhood, or like when you grew up in this belief or religion or whatever, it's actually very true, the words that are being stated by the people that stated these things, not to go too far into one way or another. But when you think of a lantern to your feet, that is what Spirit is leading us to, that we actually can see one step ahead of us. So just go one step at a time. We got this. We can go one step at a time. Finally, just for like to bring it all around, and then I'll show you a couple of crystals that came during this week, and I've been activating a lot of energy from these, and you can see what you have and just see what am I being drawn to internally. The final piece that comes whenever you realize, okay, things are getting unearthed, but I'm finding myself and I'm revealing treasure, that we also have this whole rainbow of blessing happening around us, that we may not know internally the next step of like what the world is going to decide. But one thing we are promised is we are being led and guided and loved and protected, no matter what the outcome is. I mean, we could go really deep into that, but we have the guidance, we have the blessing of angelic support, we have the spirit, we have opportunity to help each other through this. And we also have a promise that we have another minute to just take a deep breath, stay calm, we're in this together, we can do this together. We are better together during this time. Again, we don't know what the world transpires to be, but we can be promised that we know our spirit even closer during a time whenever the earth is shaking and we're all left to be the same. We are all the same in this. No one is left off of this plan. The whole world is shaking, and the whole world is doing it together. So you can see how masks that, if we could be honest with ourselves, we lived with demons inside every day around gossip, what people thought of you or me, how much money you think you have, what type of car you drive, if you got the right outfit to wear for that day, if you're thin enough, you can name it until the cows come home. To a degree, those things brought us to our knees at one point too. So this is something that is more global, and it's happening with us in it together because we are developing a new earth now, and more to come on that. Now into our crystal healing, and you can take your drinks as you go. I have my big glass of water. Always hydrate in the morning. Get your throat chakra open for the next information that's coming through. I've been drawn big time to obelisks, and these are hexagonal at the base, but there is a directed energy that comes with rose quartz towers like this. The one thing that I keep feeling is I'm directing the energy of love and that energetic flow, and it has a high frequency of love, especially the rose quartz radiates with high frequency, and I bring in the energy of love because I now have it and I'm attracting it, and it heals that heart chakra space where the hurt has been, where we blocked it, where we didn't want to see the truth, where we didn't want to be judged for the way we feel. And not that we don't already still feel that way, but this helps to channel it into love. And rose quartz has been a big go-to for the individuals that I've been working with, but also myself, because I'm learning and growing too with you. The other thing that I attracted this week, this has been like, look at this huge therapy stone of goldstone. If you work with me at all, or you've been in the apothecary, or maybe other amazing healers have shared this with you, goldstone is the anti-anxiety stone of the healer. And you're all healers, you're all empaths, you all have spiritual gifts that you're learning about. But I attracted the big therapy stone this time, not just a palm stone, which you can see fits nicely in your palm, or a worry stone, which you can hold during a meeting, maybe virtually now, or a sweet little wand. No, the big therapy stone. So this tells you, I'll talk about the anxiety that I've gotten rid of over time, that I used to actually take medicine for it, and when I was 19, 20, 21, before I was starting to have children. And I've learned to manage it to a degree now without any medicine. Not to say medicine is wrong, it's just that I wanted to learn my flow, and I've learned how to manage it. But during this time, I'm noticing it comes right in my solar plexus, and then I don't get hungry, and I'll almost just be quiet, and my stomach will turn, and then it'll go to my sacral, and it starts doing this whole thing. And then I realize, oh, Krista, you're remembering old habits that you're now dislodging, and that's my release, just so you know. That's the release I'm working on, and I'm going to release today and into tomorrow, the full moon. But this is a worry stone that I've paired with, actually, my obelisk, and this is a 6-sided hexagonal shape that I hold when I'm journaling, when I'm cooking. I'll have it next to me, infusing love into my food, and this will be right with it. So loving anxiety ritter / releaser. And then the other one I wanted to show you before we end our time today, we've done a lot of work with the mossy agate the last couple of videos, and this is still alive and well, and I keep this near, so just so you know, I'm still using that, and still using my Unakite and my aventurine, and this is all coming for the full moon. But the other very special connection I've been making is with the rainbow moonstone. And a lot of our apothecary shoppers, they're shopping virtually now, but they have been putting this in their cart nonstop. I just got a whole new set of moonstones. They're huge nuggets. I did have small nuggets to start, but I just got a whole new shipment in, and they're very flashy. So anyone doing the full moon course is getting really high flash, which you may not be able to see that, but it's very iridescent blue with the black and white. And what this does, it actually helps us absorb some of that negative energy, so we don't have to carry it all around. But remember, your intention sends it in. So if you say, I now release the anxiousness that I'm feeling in my stomach because of not being accepted and loved by the people I call my family. Like, that would be one statement. And that's something that I'm looking to also get some more work around as well. So I pull the rainbow moonstone. There's a flashy piece right there. and I'm holding it, and this is something we're doing in our workshop tomorrow. I release the negative energy with intention, otherwise nothing even works if you're not engaged with it. And then this can get charged by the full moon. You can also run water under it, or you can use your Palo smoke and actually cleanse it, okay? Or you could put it on a selenite plate. All right, so the rainbow moonstone is a big one. I wanted to mention pyramids. Pyramids are really powerful right now, especially for the solar plexus. So one of the things that we're being drawn to are, if you look at, you have the root chakra, the sacral chakra. Did you just see that? The sacral chakra. Your third chakra is the solar plexus. That's where your decision-making house is. Anything that has a number 3 is like the Trinity, but number 3 also resonates with your third chakra. Pyramids are very powerful for that because every side is a triangle and it's the sign of creation. You can also look at the base for 4, which is your heart. But this is something that's been very popular lately, are these aragonite pyramids, because they have the copper for healing. It's supposed to have transmutation power of the EMF rays coming through, like the 5G, all the stuff that is radiating in our environment to help transmute that, EMF rays they call it. But also it has rainbow moonstone in it. So it has more of that releasing crystal energy in it, but it also has a harmony to it. So rainbow moonstone also houses some harmonious feels as well. So this one has a lot of flash as well, this little piece. So that's something that you can look at too, is if you're getting drawn to pyramids, that's one of the reasons why, because you're stoking your decision-making center. And then finally, I'm being called to show you this, so I'm going to, iolite. Iolite has been a super popular stone for bracelets. We just got a couple more in. One was just bought, but we have 2 more in stock. And then I got iolite for the apothecary, so you could have tumbles and you can just hold it. And these actually are big enough to be like spheres. So they're big chunks. I think they're in the apothecary they're $4. But if you have another healer you go through, do you. But iolite is great for connecting to spirit guides, having angelic support, but also when you go to sleep, you get information. We'll talk about that in another video. We'll talk a whole thing about what you get in dreams, but this is helpful for the astral traveler, for the dream traveler. So iolite is another one. Oh, here's another big flashy piece. It was literally sitting out in the light. I'm gonna put that to the side because I have to pack a couple more crystal pouches for new enrolled full moon people. So, okay. So here's to another magical Monday. I do a little sippy sound, I know. I put some ghee in my coffee. Ghee is, I don't remember all the pieces, but I started it with keto. I'm still doing keto, but I have ghee in here, and I have turmeric and cinnamon. Turmeric helps with joints and actually flow of your blood. And the cinnamon helps with blood sugar because I actually have a blood sugar thing that goes on. So I always put cinnamon and stuff. And it also helps with third eye power. You can burn your cinnamon. You can drink your cinnamon. You can smell your cinnamon in your aromatherapy. You can see I have a selenite behind me with an angel. We just always have angels around us. And that's something that I do in this space to get literally the sacred geometry of this space to be as angelic and spirit as possible, like high level spirit. Okay. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave it below. You can find me on Instagram at Live True Healing, or you can find us at lovelivetrue.com. My name is Krista, and I'll see you around. Have an amazing, magical week. And here's to uncovering the treasure ahead. We got this. Sending you love.